About 1980, I was working out of West Bay. Oh, by the way, it's Ben Griffith, 1730 again. I was working out of West Bay, running to Orange County. But I had moved my family to 45 miles north of Sacramento to a farm up there. So I only got home on the weekends and stayed at a friend's house once for a while. Stayed with Jim Bauer, aka Cosmic Cowboy, and then I started staying with Eric Sundstrom, Red Donkey from DeSalvo. But this is a Friday night. I was going home, and Louise Avenue there in Lathrop. This is when they were changing service stations over to mini marts, and I stopped there on the way home. It was about halfway the 3-hour drive, and there was a guy Kerm worked there, and got to know him pretty good. He just worked Friday nights and Saturday nights. And I shot the breeze in for a while and got ready to leave, and I had noticed a lowrider had pulled up beside my little Mercury wagon. At any rate, the occupants, it was 4 males and 2 females if I recall, were standing between the door and my car. And once again, this ain't racist, as a matter of fact. They were Chicano. And as I'm walking towards my car, one of them bellies up at me and says, "I need some money for gas." And I says, "No." He says, "I told you I need some money for gas." And I said, "And I told you no." And I just paraded through him like I had good sense. About 3 steps, made a left, walked beside my car and got in. It's summertime, the windows rolled down. Well, the guy had been requesting money for gas, starts walking down the side of my car with his left hand extended for the door handle and his right hand reaching behind him, and something told me he wasn't reaching for a pocket comb. So just about the time he got to the door, I leveled a pistol just inside the door at him. Most universal translator I've ever seen. He lost all the Chicano stuff, man, and he spoke good Southern hillbilly English. He said, "Be cool, mister, be cool. Don't shoot, don't shoot." I said, "I'm being cool. You ain't shot. Now get your ass to the front of the damn car. Don't none of you sons move till I'm out of sight, because I'll feel it's a damn full of lead. They'll pick it up and shake it out of you. And if you think I'm with you, move." Everybody's entitled to one fatal mistake, bub. They got up to the front of the car. I put it in reverse and backed out. I knew what Kerm had behind the counter. They weren't going to get any money out of him either. Well, 2 weeks later, I couldn't stop there on a short week because Kerm wasn't working. But 2 weeks later, I stopped there again, and I went in and asked Kerm. I said, "When I was here last," I said, "what happened to those guys outside?" He said, "A bunch of sons of us." I said, "Yeah." He said, "They left right after you did and went the opposite direction." I said, "Okay." He said, "Why?" And I told him what happened. I'm standing there drinking coffee, and a few minutes later, 2 big sheriff's deputies come in. He's about 6 foot 18 inches tall. And they knew Kerm. They checked on him all the time. And he said, "Tell him what happened, Ben." I said, "No big deal." He said, "Now tell him what happened." I said, "No big deal." Obviously, in California, I had no permit for that weapon. But I learned a long time ago, I'd much rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Finally, the officers took a parade rest position beside each other and said, "You want to tell us what happened, sir?" So I told them, verbatim. And the one looked at me and said, "What kind of weapon you got?" And I said, "Beretta 92, 215 round clips, 1 in the tube." He said, "31 rounds?" I said, "That's pretty good." He reached over and he touched his partner in the waist area. He said, "We'd have had to call back up to get your ammunition replaced." He said, "But we'd have had you home before breakfast." He said, "It'd have been a good shoot. They been strong-arm robbing all kinds of people around here." He said, "You'd have been doing us a favor." And I said, "Well, that's nice to know, but it didn't happen." But I won't say trouble followed me, and I certainly wasn't looking for it, but it seemed like I found my fair share of it. But that's another story that made Viking.